What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about British things that you just can't live without. Which is kind of ironic because I am an American and I am definitely alive without these British things. But honestly, I'm just really curious to learn about what we're missing out on here. So today, I want to take a look at this video by Yvette's Vibes about 20 different British things that she cannot live without after she's been living in the UK. So let's take a look.
In no particular order, is I love British panel shows. Every single day, am refreshing to see if Big Fat Quiz is on this year and who is in the lineup. And they
Well, okay. This is very British. British panel shows. I've heard this term before. I'm still a bit confused what this is. I've never really seen one before, to my knowledge. I've taken a look at some British shows on YouTube. Maybe some of them are panel. What makes a panel show? Like a group of people at a desk talking to each other? We just don't use this term here in the United States. It's not a genre of show that I know of, but I know this is like a very British thing, and I'm very interested to see like what's with all the hype around this. I don't get it.
haven't said it yet, and I'm like, it's November, guys. Let's get it out. I need to know if it's the Goth Detectives. I love Big Fat Quiz. I love Would I Lie to You. I love panel shows in general.
Big Fat Quiz, Would I Lie to You? These are the names of British panel shows, I guess. This is like the first thing that came to her mind when she thought about what's a British thing like I can no longer live without. Is these shows must be like very addicting or something.
Fantastic. The banter that the hosts have, it's like kind of a lazy way of having friends, which sounds pathetic, but genuinely it's like hanging out with friends without having to like interact. So
I get that. I totally get that. Yeah. That's the reason that's the reason me and everybody watches a lot of different shows or YouTube videos. It's like you're hanging out with your friends or your buddies or something. I totally get what she's saying there. She was talking about with the panel show, learning about who is on it, like the hosts of the show change or something. Is that like a part of it, I guess?
Really enjoyable. It's like Gogglebox kind of thing, just connecting. Fantastic, funny stuff. I love panel shows. Okay. One thing I don't think I'll ever get over, no matter how long I live here, is that I can just go for a drive and there can just be a castle there. I know this happens heaps in Ireland. We'd just be like on the road and there's this like magnificent ruined castle and you're like, this.
I have always thought this must be one of the coolest things about living in the UK. I have literally thought about this because I've seen some videos on YouTube of like some places in the UK. It's so different to here in the United States. And one of the biggest things is that I did a whole video about British castles once. My mind was blown. And it's like the idea, exactly. The idea that you're just walking around or driving around and it's just like, oh, castle, hundreds of years old. It's like, what? That's not normal. Well, I guess it's normal for you, but that's really cool. And something that I don't think I could ever get used to. That's just like ridiculous.
This would be a huge deal in Australia.
Yeah.
People would come from around the country to see this, and it's just on the side of the motorway and no one cares. Like, because you have so many castles. I understand why, but it's still amazing to me. I remember, I don't know why, I was in like Tower of London when I came for travels. I went into Tower of London and they went into the armory and they had like the knight's armor. And that was like,
Okay.
it just like clicked in my brain to be like, the fairy tales are real. Like, so when you grow up not in a monarchy and not in Europe, nothing, there's no castles, there's no royal family.
Yeah.
I know there
Yeah.
is elsewhere, but not in your country. Like, you're not exposed to prince and princesses and things.
Yeah. I totally relate to her. Sounds like she's from Australia. I'm from the United States, but we can definitely bond over this point. Like, when I think about royalty, kings, queens, and castles, it's like a fairy tale to me. That's like fiction. That's a movie or British culture, of course, but for me, that's like I saw that in a cartoon growing up or something. It's not real. But for British people, it's actually real. That's really cool.
You're not exposed to, like, obviously dragons, things like that. I know dragons aren't real. They're kind of just all put in the same bag of like, these are things for fairy tales. Elves, pygmies, princesses, witches and
Yeah.
dragons, castles, knights. They're all put in the same bag of like, close that off mentally. That's magic. That's not real. You have no idea how good the tube is. I know I'm one of those people now that if I get to the tube and it's like 4-minute wait, I'm like, ugh.
The Tube. So the next one is The Tube, which is this is really this video is really testing my British references, but my ability to understand British culture. But this is the London Underground, like the train that's goes around London, right?
I get it. But it truly is fantastic. Tapping on, tapping off, not having to buy tickets, being able to get anywhere, being able to get anywhere and not have to wait.
Interesting. I've heard about the tube and I've learned a little bit about it before, but I've never really just heard somebody say, yeah, it's great. It's like maybe because that's just obvious if you live in London and you take advantage of the public transportation. But yeah, maybe it takes like someone from outside of the culture who's living in London to be like, this is amazing. This is great. Because certainly I can relate to this here in the United States because of our severe lack of public transportation infrastructure. You know, sorely lacking. You know, underground like metros and trains. Like we barely throw together a couple of buses that go around like our towns and cities. You know, our bigger cities have a little more stuff like that, but it sounds like nothing compared to what you guys have accomplished in the UK.
Peak hour in Sydney, you wait 15 minutes. I'm like, it's crazy. And then you've also got rail around the country, so you're traveling anywhere, so everywhere's accessible. I will say the prices should change for particularly the overground.
Yeah.
Or just the rail services, but you know, nothing's perfect yet. I just think it's fantastic, and I think I would definitely miss that.
Yeah.
I used to rage on the way home from work when I worked in Sydney, and I used to just sit there in my head building a thesis as to why you call it like TfL, it's called City Rail in Sydney.
Okay.
So we call it Shitty Rail or City Fail, and I'd sit there and come up with like a thesis as to why it's broken and how to fix it and what's wrong with it and blah.
So it sounds like she's saying, living in Australia, the rail and the tube in London and Britain is just more on time and just better done, and a better infrastructure. As an American, like I'm a step further away than she is, where it's like, I don't even know what I'm missing because we don't have like a countrywide, you know, train network or anything. That'd be really awesome, actually. Traveling around the United States, it can take you like days if you want to. Like you'd have to drive in your car literally solidly for 30 hours, 40 hours to drive across the United States to another state you want to visit, depending on how far apart you are. So we just kind of accept that that's what you have to do, or you have to fly, of course. But if there was like this whole train network, like I think that would really, a lot of Americans would travel throughout the United States more, and we would probably look back and be like, how did we survive before having this? I don't even think we know what we're missing in regards to this.
And fume. So I don't have to do that now, which is great. So I don't know if I could go back. It'll be interesting when I do, because I'll be like, it'll be interesting with my new perspective. I think it'll infuriate me more. I love how cashless the UK is. I don't know, this could just be a time thing.
Okay.
Where I'm from might be the same. But I truly enjoy just being able to tap. I haven't held cash in so long. I don't think I've ever really held cash in the UK, to be completely honest.
This is something that the United States was really far behind on for the longest time. For the longest time in the United States, we were so far behind with the tap your debit card, your credit card, tap your phone. I'm pleased to say we've finally caught up in the last few years where you truly don't need to use cash anymore in the United States. We finally got there. So that, I think this is the first one where we're kind of on the same level as Britain here.
Everything's always been cashless for me, and I love it. I hate carrying cash. It makes me nervous. But yeah, tapping on, tapping off everywhere I go. Loves it.
Oh yeah.
And then I also love and would miss the pubs. Now, I don't know, all over the world.
The pubs. I swear, in any one of these videos about cool stuff in Britain, stuff that Britain has that America doesn't have, it's always there's a pub mentioned. I don't totally understand the pub. I've tried to learn about pubs because apparently they're very, very different to American bars, which we have here, establishments for chilling out, drinking alcohol. It's not the same. It's not the same as the pub. We have things here that we call pubs. They are crude, not intimidations, but imitations. Not intimidations, but crude imitations of what a true British pub is supposed to be. It'd be cool to actually experience one, because I've heard they're great, but it's truly a British thing that we do not have.
Old people have tried to replicate pub culture, and they just haven't done it the right way. I don't know, there's something special about British pubs, and there's something in the water here. I don't know.
That's what I hear, yeah.
But they're cozy, they're not like... Sometimes whenever alcohol gets mixed, often it gets like raucous and a bit like inappropriate, but it's not. Pubs here can be family, they can be raucous, they can be anything. They're just cozy, comforting places. Pub trivia is also lovely, and depending on where you go, but you mostly get decent food, unless it's the Wetherspoons, but hopefully you've seen that video of mine.
Trivia, that's fun. Some pub trivia, decent food. I've heard stuff like you can bring your kids or your dog, or you can get, it's not just for like nighttime getting drunk until 2 a.m. You can go during the day, and you don't even have to get alcohol. All these things are just like so far away and different from the purpose of a bar in the United States. So it's just really cool. And I think it's what she's trying to say is we try to do it in America, and it just doesn't, we can't do it.
If not, I did the best and worst Wetherspoons. And that's where I'll leave it. But yeah, overall, pub culture, fantastic. Yeah, I just love it so much. I just love the hominess of it, the Christmas. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's like je ne sais quoi. Like, well, you can't explain it. It's just something special. In
That's
Australia,
cool.
We don't really have pubs. We have like RSLs, but they're like literally just like a Wetherspoons, which,
RSL.
you know. So I would definitely miss the pub culture and the pub quizzes most of all. On that note, something that I've always...
Sometimes restaurants in America have trivia nights. We have some trivia nights. So I didn't know that was like a part of pubs in Britain. That's funny.
Tried to get my head around, I don't know if I ever have, is Sunday roasts. Like, it's truly an interesting thing to me that like everyone in the country just has the same meal on the same day. That is not a thing where I'm from.
So is it to that extent? I've heard of a Sunday roast. It's a very specific British dish with it sounds like great. It has a lot of things to it. I'd have to brush up on what exactly is in a Sunday roast. But one thing I didn't even think about is you all actually eat this regularly on Sunday? Like most of the inhabitants of the UK, collectively, you actually eat the Sunday roast on Sunday? Like everyone together in their house, like all across the country? Like, is that a thing?
And often you go to the pub to do it because obviously making Yorkshire is really hard.
Okay.
It's wild to me.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, meh, I don't know if that's true. If everyone, is it a law? Is it a crime not to have Sunday roast on Sunday, or maybe you're just really inclined to because it's great. But yeah, this is just jumping on what she's saying. There's no dish in the United States that's like, all right, on this day of the week, we all shall eat this. And it's like, no, there's the American Tuesday roast. Like, no, it doesn't exist. It's actually really cool. Like that there's the Sunday roast and everyone has it. Like, yeah, that's cool.
And they're great, they're beautiful, they're very hearty and lovely, don't get me wrong. I like a roast. I think the UK loves it on a level I never will truly understand. But I love the concept. I love that everyone comes together on a Sunday and sometimes goes to a pub to have with their family to have a roast. I think that's really cute. Yeah, maybe it's because I don't eat meat, but I don't know. One thing that surprised me in the UK and that I don't think I'll ever be able to go back to is meal deals and just to-go food in general. Like, they have done that so you could go anywhere and get a sandwich. Like, you never have to be hungry in the UK.
Oh, meal deals. This is, gosh, I feel like I've heard of this. Like, this is a British thing. Is this at the supermarket or is this at, gosh, where do you sell where do you get the meal deals? The only thing I can think of in American culture that even sounds comparable is going to a gas station or a petrol station and buying some of the sandwiches there. You could get a drink and a sandwich maybe for a discount. We don't have a word for it. Like there's nothing that is explicitly exactly like a British meal deal. We don't have that phrase. And in America, you never really trust a sandwich, specifically a sandwich that's been made and is being sold at a gas station or really a lot of grocery stores, to be honest. So this concept is just totally different from what Americans even think would be a good lunch.
Like there's always, and the road stops, oh my gosh, I love when you're going on a road trip and you've got those, like, I don't know if they're called like service stops, is that it? Like where there's often like fast food or like you're able to like get, I don't know, do you know what I mean? It's like a little supermarket, but like a really well kept one.
No, I don't really know what she means. We have rest stops in America, places you can stop to get food. Typically, it's a gas station. You pull over into some random town or pull off the highway and go to a gas station and get some packaged food, like some candy or some chips, crisps. Never the sandwich. No, stay away from in America, you stay away from all that.
Like on the side of the road and you can get like road snacks. It's great.
Okay.
And like, yeah, Boots, Tesco's, Waitrose, Sainsbury's, Co-op.
Okay.
Everyone has some sort of meal deal, some sort of to-go food. You have to get the deal, but like,
Okay.
you know you're going to end up with the deal because it just makes sense and that's how they get you. So like,
Okay.
it's just so good and it's like quite affordable.
Okay.
Like, it's crazy to me how well, like, I haven't seen that. I don't know about America, but in Australia, like, that's not a thing. Like, to-go food, like, they really need to get on it because it's...
Yeah, I mean, some people try to do it in America. It's just not that good. And we don't call it a thing, like a meal deal. It's more like, I gotta get something from the gas station. Ugh, okay. Whereas in Britain, it sounds like it's good quality, like something you'd actually enjoy getting and at a good price, sandwich and drink. That sounds great. I wish we had that.
It's like, not a thing. Not a thing. I love it so much. I think if I was now to go back, I think I'd rage because I'd be like, I'm hungry and I didn't plan ahead. What am I supposed to do?
Sure.
Now, this next one I put on because I don't even know what to call it, but like the Brits use a lot of endearing words.
Okay.
Australians just use the C word, which is the most complimentary of all.
What?
But I was talking to a customer at work the other day, and she kept calling me Poppet, and I was like, this is not on the list. No one's ever called me Poppet.
Pop? That is so funny to me. Because the only time I've ever heard the word poppet, I didn't know that was actually a British thing, like a term of endearment or a pet name, or what is that? What does it even mean? Anyway, the only time I've heard that was in Pirates of the Caribbean. Have you seen that movie? You seen that? That one pirate says it. Says, "Hello, poppet." Maybe he's supposed to be British even, but I feel like all Americans have this collective experience of watching Pirates of the Caribbean and being like, "Poppet? What is a poppet? I like that."
She was like, "You're a doll. What is it? You're a doll. You're a gem. Thank you, Poppet. Thank you." You remember?
What is a poppet? What is it? Is it good? Is it? I think it's a compliment.
Grandma, stop it. It was so sweet, and I love it. And you get that all the time. Is like they'll say love and darling and that. But yeah,
That's nice.
This one just like epitomized the whole, I guess, endearing nature. My mum, I grew up with my mum, and maybe that's why, because she used to call everyone darling, and she calls them all darling because she forgets everyone's names. So everyone's sweetie darling. If you know Ab Fab, which is absolutely fabulous. There's Patsy and Eddie. My mum is Eddie, for context.
Okay.
So,
no, I don't know that reference, but sure, the idea that there's like a sweet old lady calling you sweetie pie or darling, or that does exist in the United States. But I think the exact terms, the exact names that we use are different. Like no sweet old lady in America is gonna say poppet ever. I wish they did.
So yeah, I'm used to that. So I think on some level it like plays into how my mum used to talk. So I'm like, Poppet? I will miss the weather. Shoot me. I love British weather. I even got up the other day on Halloween.
This is a hot take, because a lot of people, you just hear like, oh, British weather is bad. Like in England, it's muggy and raining, and it's like, is that true all the time? Also, that's not necessarily the worst weather, like depending on the temperature. And don't you guys like don't even have a lot of climate control in your house? Is that right? Like air conditioning isn't necessarily standard. Like it doesn't get like disgustingly hot enough, or is that a thing? Am I making that up? Because yeah, in the United States, there's so much area. You could be really north or really south. It could get super cold or super way too hot, depending on where you're living. So the idea that I think in Britain, it's more just standardly sort of neutral, dependable weather. Is that fair? That sounds nice. That if that's how it is.
I got up, it was like raining. Daniel's football game was raining out. I went out, I was hungover. I came downstairs and I looked out the window, it was blowing, it was cold, and it was rainy, and I turned to Dan and I was like, this is like a white Christmas for me.
Okay, this, I gotta be honest, she is not particularly selling British weather to me right now. She's not really selling it to me well. That doesn't sound great. I was trying to be open-minded, optimistic, but it's like, raining and cold? I mean, maybe if you're Australian, that's kind of cool, but that doesn't sound particularly pleasant.
Like waking up on Halloween and having that horrific weather, I was like, yes, this is what I want.
What?
And then, so,
What?
am I a bit goth? A little bit. So I love having the excuse to get cozy and watch films. But then you also
Okay.
have like the sunny days and it's never too hot and I don't get burnt to a, well, I actually do
Okay.
get burnt to a crisp sometimes, but not as much as I used to.
I like that. I like it being sunny out, but not too hot. That sounds good.
It's fantastic. Never too hot. Never that cold. I went to Lapland.
Okay, nice.
So like Finland, like North Finland, like the Arctic, the proper Arctic, and it was like minus 20 degrees, and I was like, that's cold. When I have to like, put
Jeez.
4 layers on to walk outside, that's cold. The UK's never that cold. Gives me enough variance to keep it interesting, but not enough to like severely impact my day to day.
So it is kind of what I was hoping. Just pleasant most of the time. Not too much variability in how hot and cold it can get. That sounds great, actually. Like, that sounds great. Hopefully not too rainy.
And that's exactly the sweet spot.
Yeah.
I can't think of anywhere else weather-wise I would prefer to live than the south of England.
Nice.
I'm sorry, Northerners. On that note, I just love parks in the UK, particularly London, to be honest.
Parks.
Because I live in a bit more rural area now, and we have so many parks and farms, and it's stunning. But there's something about a curated garden with a fountain.
Is this common in British culture? Like parks? In America, we have plenty of parks, public parks. They're nice. I wouldn't go as far as to say that they don't have beautiful gardens and manicured like foliage and flowers. There's not usually a beautiful fountain. Maybe if you're lucky, but so I'm just trying to get a grasp on if we have parks in America and we have parks in the UK, are the parks in the UK like a little better by this maybe.
It's just beautiful. It's like being in a film, being in a storybook. Just want to go talk to Mr. Darcy about getting my dowry. I don't know. They're just so nice. I think it's also maybe fountains. Maybe just like fountains.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
this time I just liked parks, but really I just liked a garden with a fountain. We've all learned.
Of all the British things on this list, this one does not blow my mind. We have some nice parks in America. I can wrap my head around this.
Something today. My last one, and I think it's probably the most important. I love British humour. They're so funny. We get them every time. I love the sarcastic, dry humour. People say
Right.
things deadpan and people are into it. And it's like, I personally, but maybe it's I'm just like stroking my ego, is that I think it's slightly more intelligent type of humour. But yeah, I think it's just because I enjoy it.
This is a very interesting one for her to end off on. And this is a big one because this permeates all of British culture, all British conversation and behavior, this underlying British humor that is very unique. This is at least something that a lot of Americans like we're somewhat familiar with it because it is famous. It has its own name. British humor. There's no American humor. What does that even mean? American humor. British humor. Like, it's the only country in the world that has its own phrase for humor. Like, oh, that was British humor. And it's very unique, and it's not just on the television and films, but it's the humor that all the people of Britain have. Which dictates a lot. It'd be interesting to like live in Britain like she has done and have that different humor all the time with everybody you meet. I wonder what that would even be like, frankly. And how it would, like, if it would feel different than like being around Americans and American humor or whatever that means.
In that you don't, like hypothetically, if it was on TV, like you don't need a laugh track. You can all like get the joke without having to be like obvious. Like you have to pay attention to be like and be rewarded for it.
Right.
I don't know if that's the right way to explain it, but
Right.
I love British humour and I love the sass of it all and the bands and the dry deadpan I love that. I love that dynamic.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite things about England, and
that's really cool. This was a really great video. It's really interesting hearing from somebody who has clearly lived their whole life in one place, Australia in her case, and then moved to the UK and has just been absorbed into British culture and all these things she's noticed about it. I could really relate to that kind of outside perspective and just being kind of amazed by some of the things she's talking about. And I think a lot of this stuff is stuff that Americans would actually love if we would give it a chance. That's pretty cool. So anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on, just the best things about British culture, British things that you can't live without. That'd be really cool to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Britain, seeing British things for the first time, learning about British culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.